Bienvenido, caballero, a otro capítulo de
Holy
Spanglish con
Mari y
Lynn. Y como ustedes ven, estamos en otro setting. We're in another
Yes.
setting. Today, our Holy Spanglish is going to be in English. Hoy va a ser en inglés, pero en español vamos a explicarles que estamos bajo de construcción.
sí,
¿Verdad, Mari?
sí, estamos bajo construcción y hoy estamos comoditas aquí, mire,
Sí.
con colchita,
En el
un
sofá.
buen sofá, bien cómoda para
Bien
ustedes.
comodita. So we're under construction. So that's where you're going to see different sceneries for a couple of days, maybe weeks. Because God is blessing us with a new location. Dios nos está bendiciendo con una locación. ¿Se dice?
Sí, un local nuevo.
Un local nuevo.
Sí.
Pero hoy vamos a hacerlo un poquito en inglés sobre el episodio de Ali y de Evan que acabaron de ver. Lo vamos a hacer en inglés. Ya ustedes más o menos ya escucharon cómo nosotros somos madres en el español. So today's episode is going to be in English.
Yes. And if you haven't watched that episode, you're missing out. You need to watch that. Before you watch this, if you're watching this right now, and you haven't watched the episode before this one, you have to go back and watch.
Yes,
You know?
you
si
do.
No, si no estás viendo ahora y no ha visto el episodio de Ali y Evan que fue anteriormente a este, ya ustedes saben, vayan para allá y veanlo antes que este.
Yes. So nosotros we're gonna start off with, first of all, thanking you guys for all the beautiful message and the support that you guys have been pouring in regarding Evan and Ali's testimony at the camp and what God has been doing with them lately. It's been amazing how you guys have shared it. Even some of you, without even knowing what they were going to say, they were already sharing it.
Yes.
I have Ali and Evan's teachers sending me messages. Thank you so much. You guys, I mean, I knew that it was going to be impacted because, you know, God is in the mix of it. And the fact that a 15-year-old went to camp and accepted Christ and his testimony, I knew it was going to be impacted, but I didn't know like how some random people that I haven't spoken to just showed up.
Even when we were recording that episode, even it impacted us being there, which it impacted you by you already heard that message by him and one or twice. But that moment right there, it was like you could feel it. You could feel the Holy Spirit right there speaking through him. And it was so beautiful. And even, I don't know if you want to share, but you told me about one of his friends that he
Yes.
shared.
Yeah,
that
there's
he didn't want to send it. He was going to send it
Yes. So when we were trying to promote this, all our youth group, including Ali and Evan, were sharing it. But he was hesitant to share with certain people because he's like, Mom, they're not believers. They might not like want to hear it. And I'm like, no, go for it, baby. But I understand it because it happens to me. Does it happen to you?
Of course.
It happened to me. And the one that I least expect end up coming to church, getting baptized, and becoming a member.
Yeah.
So he did it. And then that friend of, I'll say more or less friend of him, end up sharing it on his Instagram story, and it was one of the first ones. So he follows me on my public account, and that's how I got to see it.
Wow.
And I was like, you see, like I told them and Ali, and I'm telling everybody, you just never know. Let God, like Ali said, she was trying to this time in K. God was using her as a vessel. And what is being used as a vessel? Just let him.
Yeah, let him do it in like whoever you least expect. You know, whoever you think is not going to be impacted, that's the person that God works in, you know, the most. In, you know, sometimes, like you ask, if it happened to me before, sometimes I say, oh, no, that person is this and that, you know, you never know.
They're going to reject me.
They're going to bully me. They're going to laugh or whatever, you know, and when you come to see, it's totally different of what you've been thinking.
Yep, it is.
But
and then, you know, it shows Ali and Evan, I want you guys parents, because I have heard a lot of beautiful messages back of like, you know, how you're raising them and etc. But let me tell you something. The grass is not always so green. Okay? And I told Mari, I want to do a little duet, like a little hunchback of what happened with them in KA, because the grass is not always green. Okay? I feel like us parents we have a duty of praying for them, guiding them with the word, being examples. But sometimes we're not always a perfect example. Sometimes we're not always like there leaning with God. You understand? And yes, they are mimicking us and staring at us, but we're not always perfect. So with that said, I feel like I do my best to introduce them to how to pray, introduce them how to walk with the Lord faithfully. But at the end of it, there's going to be a stage of life in their life that they're going to continue walking, and it's going to be their testimony.
Of course. And it's okay if they see through us that we are not perfect.
Exactly.
You know, because by experience in growing up as a Christian, girl, you grow up thinking that you have to be perfect when you don't see any flaws in your parents or the people around you,
Yeah.
And it's not that they are perfect, it's that they camouflage it,
Yeah.
or they try to project that, when in reality, you as a child, you believe what your parents tells you, or the way they hide things. And then sometimes that's not good to be hiding things to your children. You need to be transparent, and they gotta see that mommy made mistake, daddy make mistake. We are not perfect, so they don't go through life thinking that they have to be perfect, because trying to be perfect is hard.
Yeah.
Trying to
and
keep
it could
that
be damaging.
Yes, it can be very damaging, and it's very hard. It's very hard to grow up and think, okay, I'm gonna be punished if I make mistake.
Yeah.
And we gotta teach our kids that making mistake is okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
We are human.
Yeah.
You just it's not making the same mistake after over and over. Just try to learn from the mistake.
Yeah.
And
that we have a merciful God.
Mm-hmm.
And how you start practicing that, like how do you start receiving that mercy that God has, and then you end up receiving it. You make a mistake and you ask for forgiveness, you repent, and you get up and you walk and you will continue, and don't make it a habit. That's how I told my kids, don't make it a habit, but you will continue, and you're human, and you just continue life. And when and like in my case, when I was not raised in church, so I explained to them, like when you accept him like Evan did, and you start walking, it's not gonna be easy. Walking
especially
with
when you're
God,
a child,
a teenager, it's not gonna be easy. You're still gonna have tribulations. You're still gonna have trials. You're still gonna have temptation. You're still gonna have, but you, through getting deep into the Word, as you and Ali are doing, because I'm witness of it, you will realize what is right and what is wrong, and what it is to walk faithfully with the Lord. And like you just said, Maddie, being transparent to them. You're my very close friend, and you see how I try to be as transparent as I can. My kids have me in Life 360. If I go out with my girlfriend, they know. And then people will be like, but what do you mean they have access to all of that? Because I live a transparent life with them. I'm not living a sinful life, so why do I have to hide it? I want my daughter to see what a godly woman is outside of these doors too. And when I have come home, or I haven't made any kind of I'll say something that is not godliness, that they feel that is not godliness, they'll check me. They, both of them, if I'm wearing something that they feel like it's not like proper, they'll check me. And I love that, because that's being, like what you're saying, transparent with them.
And you leading by example. You lead by example, and your kids, they see that. And like I said, it's hard, even more so when they are teenagers, because of the peer pressure that they have out there. And raising a teenager at this time is hard in the Word of God, in the camino de Dios.
Yes.
It's so hard, because
walking with the Lord,
it's so hard. But one thing is that us as parents, we cannot give up.
No.
We can't give up, because is this a verse that says, instruye, I don't know in English, instruye al niño en su camino, y aun cuando
structure your kids in the walk of God, in the path of God.
Y cuando sea viejo, no se apartará de él.
And when he gets old, he will not depart from him.
Yeah, because I was reading about that. I've been reading constantly. It happens to be this week, and we just touched this topic about when you a child, and there was somebody debating in social media about were you, oh, you did send it to me. It was the Jewish guy that
Yes.
it was Jewish, and then I did, because everything you sent me, I try to go in their page, and he was talking about he has a newborn baby. He really don't have grown teenagers, but he was talking about if a child doesn't want to go to church, do you still make him go?
Absolutely.
He was talking about that, and then I like to go into the comments to read about what
A
people
child doesn't
think.
want to go to school. Do you still make him?
Yes, exactly. But and then I was like, I used to get very upset when I was growing up because, well, we used to go to church 6 days a week.
Yeah.
It was only one day that we had free, and at that time I was like, oh my God, we had to go. My mom, my dad, they always forced me to go to church,
Yeah.
and I didn't understand it there. And then I didn't understand that, and when I got older, I just walk away from church and everything else. I just did my own life. But now look at me. I came back to Los Caminos de Dios. And what happened is that if you instruct that and
Plant that seed.
plant that seed, even if your child walk away from God, it's gonna grow. Once they get older, when they become adult, they will come back to the Los Caminos de Dios.
And I love to hear that, and I live that with you, because my kids are raised differently than me. They are raised in church. They're not 6 days a week we go, but they are raised in church. They were raised with the word like you are, and I love to hear that, because sometimes I wonder when they walk away from God. I got 3 kids. If there's a time that they walk away from God, everything that I structured them with, everything that you did, would they just take it like nothing, like it was nothing? That crossed my mind. Would if they're out there in the world, do they remember these verses? Do they remember the pact they did when they got baptized? Do they remember the pact they did when they accepted you?
They
always
will.
go, but you're a testimony
They will.
of that.
They will remember. And I remember reading the Bible. I used to read the Bible, and back then you will go to the church and they will make you memorize verses, and right now I don't remember all of them, but I remember when I started going back to church and Pastor Daryl,
Yeah.
we have Bible studies or something it was something was happening that we went to his house, and then I took my Bible, and then he was giving verses and I was looking through the Bible and finding the books, and I found the books just like that. And I knew where because
it's like riding a bike.
I knew, and he looked at me and he said, I can tell that you was raised in church.
Yeah.
Because you had no problem looking at the Bible. Like, look, where every book, and I didn't notice then what I was doing. But he pointed out. I was like, when you do that with your children, they will remember. It doesn't matter, like you said, riding a bike. I don't think you forget to ride a bike when you get older. I never heard of that. And the same thing with the Word of God. Even so, not only the Bible, when you do something that you know is wrong, you always know what's right and wrong.
It feels so good to hear that, because our kids could come to a point that they walk away from God, and it's refreshing to hear that even if they go off, like in your case, you went off and even became a bartender. You said in many podcasts in Spanish how you knew what was right or wrong. Like you knew the those little seeds that your parents put in your heart, and the way they structure you. Even in the midst of you being away from the Lord, you still felt the Lord. And I a lot of I work with youth, and some of them are away from God, and I love them as my own, but I always pray it and ask God protect them and cover them and allow them to be able to have that heart that's open for you, because some of them are shut. Allow for them to have that heart open for you. But with that said, I want to tell you guys something. it's good to hear adults that are almost my age and their testimony when they have apart from God and come back. Because in Ali and Evan's case, it hasn't been easy. I do feel that I'm blessed, Mari,
Yes, you
to
are.
have my kids, but it's not easy because, for example, Evan is a kid that is being diagnosed as we speak with what is it?
ADHD.
Eh?
Eso mismo.
Eso mismo. And I'm always saying all the letters A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
ADHD.
Okay. I'm new to it too. Okay, so I'm new to it. He has an amazing therapist. She's also Christian. She's also Honduran, and I have God has blessed me to have a great village and support system when it comes to Evan. And I know that Evan has a beautiful. All of you guys see him. I haven't finished them all, but I know you all say the same thing. He has a beautiful calling upon his life.
Amen.
But like Mari says, as a parent, you just can't give up. But yes, there is time. Lynn right here wants to give up, and I'm like, I'm just tired. Go to YouTube. I want YouTube to teach my kid. Because he's nonstop. It's not just about golly stuff. Like if he wants to learn how to change the tire, I just go to YouTube. Because with him, it's like he keeps me on my toes with everything. We see a movie, and the next day he's like, Mom, I want to do Alfredo with pineapple. And I'm like, I don't got time for that. I don't have time for that. So in my case, because I am a single mom, there's a lot in my plate. So he is a child that not only he wants to know biblically everything in the stories, he also physically is always keeping me on my toes. And I have had my moments with him. Okay, because he is, out of all three of my kids, I'll say the more hyper one, because he keeps me on my toes on everything. He's also that kind of kid that even when it comes to the sex talks, he's very blunt. He just goes for it. And why this and why that? And I love it because he is coming to me for it. And I thank God for that, because he could have gone to anybody else.
Yes, and get the wrong information.
And I get the wrong information. So I'm thankful for that. He just goes straight for it. My daughter is going into the teenager stage, and I pray that she continues being the way she is and faithful to the Lord. But when I say they walk their own testimony, I say because I have an oldest, and at the end of the day, my oldest son, he has his own testimony. And our salvations individually.
Yes.
All we have to do is just plant the seed, pray for them, and that's it. I've learned that with my oldest, I had to step back and let God.
Yeah.
And one day I would have to do that with Evan, and I would have to do that with Ali. But the grass is not always green. There's moments that I do want to give up and just let you two teach them and let whatever. I see sometimes parents like, oh, I just give them the pad and let them play. Like, I understand that. There's moments that you just want to just relax. I do my best, and you witness to it, not to do that.
Yes.
But there is our moments that we want to do that. Now, I do want to give you guys an advice that I gave a lot of you guys privately, and is know who your kids are surrounding yourself with. Because the moment is very important. And the moment that Evan has tried to maneuver himself towards away from God's path, believe it or not, who he surrounds himself with is very valid. I am a dictator. Okay, Evan gives me all the names in the book. I'm a dictator when it comes to that. When I see that my kids are surrounding themselves with the wrong crowd, I start cutting it off, and they don't even know.
Yeah.
I'm like, pop, pop, pop. I start cutting off, and they wouldn't even know who I'm cutting off.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's very important.
It's very important.
Wasn't it important for you?
Yeah.
Like when you were raised in church and how you removed yourself from church?
Yeah, it's very important. And well, as me growing up, it was very strict, they were beyond dictator because they were older. My parents were older, so they didn't believe in sleeping in nobody's house, which I still don't believe in those things. But me raising my older daughter, I raised her kind of the same way that I was raised.
Yeah.
And it's a double two-edged sword. You know, it's not good because it's a lack of trust.
Yeah.
You know, that creates lack of trust, and because you believe that everything you do is wrong.
Yeah.
So you're not gonna come to your parents to tell them you made a mistake or how you feel. You know, because you're not supposed to feel that way. So I am learning, and believe it or not, I learn a lot from you, from seeing the way you're raising your children, because our children surrounding. You're talking about our children to surround their surrounding is very important, but us as an adult, it is as well.
Yes, true.
Especially when we are parents, you know, and it's like a marriage. When you are married, if you surround yourself with single people, what's gonna be the topic? You know,
exactly.
And especially in like when you surround yourself with more parents that have, especially they have the same belief as you, and the same boundaries, you learn a lot. And I learn a lot from you. And I have a 5-year-old, which I said, I learned from my past mistake from my daughter, and I want to be not only a mother for my 5-year-old, I want her to, when she become a teenager, she can come up to me as well and tell me, Mommy, I like this boy, or what is a period, or I feel this way, and I can give her my best advice and talk to her, you know. And I'm not there yet. I was there before, and it didn't work out very well. And now I have a good relationship with my oldest, you know. But like you said, we, us as parents, we cannot stop praying for our children. You know why?
You can't.
Because God has told me many times, I'm an adult, I'm 40 years old, but God has told me many times through different people that he had used that I am still on this earth because my mom and my dad never stopped praying for me. And God, you know, él me libró de muchas cosas. Like he freed me from so many things that could have happened to me because my mom at 5 a.m. was praying for her daughter. And that's what I'm saying. A mother's prayer, a father's prayer is so powerful. Never stop praying for your children, no matter how old they are. If they don't follow God's path, if they were raised there but they don't follow it, don't worry about it. Just leave it to God. Leave it to God and just pray for them. Never stop praying for them. Every time you pray, bring your kids into that prayer.
It's
very
funny
important.
how you say that you observe things for me, because when I feel that I'm lacking as a mom with my oldest, I observe those things from you. You know, because right now, all I could do once they're adults is just pray for them. You know, if they reach out, they reach out. If they don't reach out, they don't reach out. If they make decisions that you choose and hope that they didn't make those decisions, at the end of the day, the only tool I have is just continue praying for them. You know,
that's all you can do.
And I observed that. And yes, I feel like with my oldest, I feel that I was more strong and strict. To a certain extent, I had a great relationship with my oldest in his teenager years. I feel that he came to me plenty of times that other youth would not do. Okay. And he would tell me I feel things that sometimes I stay frozen. I'm like, oh my God, did he just say that to me? Oh Lord. Evan and Ali are the same way. And I praise God for that. I hope that Ali and Evan continue being like that with me. But Ali being the only girl, when we never allowed my oldest to have a sleepover. Never. My oldest never slept nowhere unless it was his aunt's house. With Ali, I remember, because I got diagnosed with lupus too, her first sleepover was with these members from my church. They have Danny and Ryan. That was their first sleepover. I was sick in the hospital. She offered, let me take care of her, etc., etc. And I did. Her father said okay. I said okay. And then we realized that it was not a bad thing, because the only house that she has slept over that I'm aware of, it was yours and Miss Kia.
But you know them, and you know their daughter.
But I saw that the fruits was good.
Yeah, exactly.
Because she's the only girl, and Ali needs girls around her that will be their sisters forever.
But you also know the parents of the girls where she slept in, and you know their upbringing, and you know how they are, and their values is similar to yours.
Yeah.
You know, that's a very
But it's funny how I changed.
Yes,
because you would talk to the old Lynn,
and
there's no way.
Well, I didn't used to
might as well be no.
I didn't let my oldest. I didn't let my oldest sleep nowhere. Yeah, I remember only one that when we did the baby shower not so long ago. She was there. I introduced you to her.
Yeah.
She said, I told you that is the only friend that Jomairi, my oldest, slept in her house, because I know her daughter, which you guys knew each other, end up annoying each other, and that's the only person that she ever slept with, and it was like 2 times only. And I told her, if your friend want to sleep over, she's always welcome. You're not going to sleep in nobody's house. She didn't understand it then, and now she's a mom. And I'm pretty sure they'll understand. You know, but I feel they're gonna understand when they're parents. Yeah, all our mistakes and the good and the bad. I think so. But I have a 5-year-old, and I still feel the same way about sleeping over. It has not changed. But you know, I'm gonna be a little flexible, just like your case. You let her sleep at my house, and you let her sleep at Danny's house, which is you know them, you know. And I have no problem with my daughter sleeping with you in your house, because I know. So it's a different scenario, you know. It's not like I'm gonna let her sleep anywhere either. I feel like my mistake was regarding sleepovers. Everybody has their opinion of sleepover. I'm still very strict with sleepovers. Those are the only people that I trust as sleepover as of right now when it comes to sleepover. I feel like my mistake was because I feel that once you start letting them with an age, of course, my daughter's old enough to speak to me and tell me what happens and all that. I think it's where you help them come out of that shell. You know, they're gonna eventually go off to college. I did not want, like what I did with my oldest, that he never had a sleepover. We were so strict. He calls it, he was a training, like he was a, what's it called? He says a training, whatever. He has a whole bunch of names for us as parents. But with Ali, I feel like I don't want her to go off, let's say, to college or whatever's going to happen with her future and be like, I just came out of my shell. Why did my mom did this to me? No, I want her to know what it is to be without mom. Yeah. I wanted her to, you know, I remember that. She would tell me, I cried all night for you. And But then eventually she's like, bye, Mom. Yeah. Can I sleep over at my mommy's house? But you know what? We're breaking. Nowadays, it's very important to let your kids be out there, like be exposed more to the world. Because nowadays, it's not the same as when we growing up. Or even 22 years ago when I was raising my daughter, my oldest, or you raising your son. Everything now is totally different. So for you to want it to let your daughter be, experience that or get out of the shell, I don't see nothing wrong with that, and that's even especially more when you're beneficial. In control. When you're of who they're with. Exactly. Because soon we're not gonna be in control, and that's what happened to me. Once my oldest came out of the house, I'm no longer in control what he's doing. Exactly. You understand? So I feel like I want Ali to, I'm in control of what she's exposed while she's not longer with me. My village, who are the adults, who are her friends. I'm in control of a very a piece of this in her life. And then eventually when she's off, like, I did what I did. Anymore. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. And letting them, like, once they spread their wings and fly, it's like it's a shock. Like, now you can tell them anything. Like, now, I mean, you can advise them, but it's not like you can tell them, like a teenager, oh, if you don't behave, you're going to get grounded, or you're going to take your phone away, or you can watch TV, or you can do that with this. So hopefully whatever you instinct in what you taught them, what you planted that seed, they'll carry it with them.
Yeah.
Like I said, wherever they go, and it's very important.
And that's all we have to do, and hope for that. That's what happens with them, but it's not always like so shiny. It's not always like so, because God says it Himself. Walking with Him, there will be trials and tribulation. That goes for the youth too. That goes for the parents raising the youth. We're not perfect, our relationship sometimes is not always all that perfect, but I am blessed with the relationship that I have with Ali and Evan, and I love it. I love the friends everybody that surrounds them. I'm mostly all of them. I know their parents. We have a relationship with their parents. We have a great, even some of them don't even, but are Christians. Some of them are not believers, but we have the same morals. We have the same concept of the way we want to raise our kids. So I'm glad that I have some full control of that. Their dad and I are separated, but he's also like team with me. I'm team with him. Sometimes, like, let's say he feels that certain earrings Ali could wear, and I feel like, no, she shouldn't wear those earrings, or the nails, or shaving the legs. Should she shave her legs? Should she not? Right now we're both together on her not shaving her legs, so that's a good thing. But I'm blessed in that area, because I know some parents are like, the mom is okay with certain makeup and the dad is not. In my case, me and their dad,
you meet up halfway.
We meet up halfway in everything. Like we're okay with. So I'm glad in that area, but it's not always green in the other side. I feel like a lot of parents sometimes bash each other in social media of how to parent their kids. You should work with each other. You should, encourage each other, help each other, because you never know if tomorrow your 13-year-old will be like that parent that you're bashing. You'll be just in their shoes.
Yeah,
you
course.
Never know if you're in their shoes, because one of the temores, one of the fears that I had when I had my oldest in school will be like, what will he say about me? I would always think, not, and of course I'm now it's with Ali and him, what would he project who his mom really is? At the end of the day, God knows who you are, and for me to explain myself a little bit better, God knows who your heart is and what you have done as a parent.
Yeah.
And that's all you gotta give. Yeah. Continue praying for them, continue loving them, continue trying to guide them towards the word, guide yourself towards the word, pray for yourself, and that's all you gotta do.
Yeah.
Don't be harsh on yourself. That's what I'm trying to say. Because you're not perfect. God is not expecting you to be perfect either.
Yes, and with that, I think that we can close saying that us as parents, we don't come with a manual. Kids doesn't come with manual when we have them. We make mistakes and we are not perfect.
Especially we both had them young.
Yes, we did. We both have them very young. And, I had the opportunity to be a mom as my older. I have a 5-year-old and I'm 40, so I had the blessing to have another child. And it's like starting over again. Yeah. And now it's like I'm more mature, and now I'm in los caminos de Dios. I cannot say that word in English. Walking with the Lord. So it's very different now as when I was raising my oldest child. And all I can say is, you're right. We are not perfect, and as long as you stay in the world, and as long as you read the Bible, pray for yourself, pray for your children, I think God got you.
Yep.
All right.
So, and encourage each other. Love each other.
Find yourself a village. With this, hey, I love you.
Holy Spanglish.